United States only oil challenge. The only things I'm allowed to use in my military are things which consume oil. So everything in the division has to consume oil. Only motorized infantry and tanks, not even support artillery because it's not pulled by a truck. And also Navy and Air Force are allowed because they both consume oil. I will be allowed to build synthetic refineries, but I will not be allowed to get any of the oil upgrades for them. I'm only allowed to use them for rubber. All of my oil must come from the ground. And what are my goals? The same as usual. Power and incredible wealth done by exploiting the general populace. Anyways, let's get started. Research. I'm going to use the 4th slot for battleships so that I can work towards getting the super heavy battleship. Why do I want super heavy battleships? Because they're cool. Construction, just lots of infrastructure. Production, got 10 military factories to work. So this is what I'm going to start with, and this is what I want to work towards. I'm also going to finish up all these ships that are being constructed because I like to play suboptimally. Import a little bit of rubber from the United Kingdom. Continue the New Deal. Let's also take the whole army and delete it. Unpause, let's go. So for our divisions, every single battalion support has to consume oil. So we cannot use support artillery engineers because they don't consume oil. However, we can use things like motorized recon or armored recon. We can also use field hospitals and logistics because they require trucks. But all this has to be either tanks, mechanized, or motorized, or some kind of truck-drawn artillery. Continue the New Deal has been completed. Let's continue with WPA. Since we get basically no political power because of the Great Depression, like this video if you have Great Depression, I'm going to get the silent workhorse to help compensate. Merge up the Navy, combine all of them, give them an admiral, and let's permanently exercise. We'll never run out of fuel at the moment at least, and it'll generate us in a ridiculous amount of naval experience. Small lobbying effort. I'm now going to click the forbidden button. Research super heavy battleship hull. Chief of the Army. Army offense. WPA is completed. Let's do the Agricultural Adjustment Act so we can work on getting rid of the Great Depression. America starts out with the Bureau of Ordnance for the Spear of the Naval Command, which just straight up nerfs your torpedo. So I'm going to replace it with night fighting. These are all honestly very good, but I just like night fighting the best. Even if it's not the best in terms of statistics, it's still pretty cool in terms of cinematography. Naval refit yards. Signals training. As you might imagine, we're going to be using up a lot of fuel, so I'm going to invest heavily into the excavation techs and also fuel refining. I don't need it quite yet though, so I'm going to get improved machine tools. This is kind of expensive, but not really that expensive, so I'm going to grant statehood to Alaska, Hawaii, and Puerto Rico. This will give us cores on all of them. That pretty much takes away all the political power we are getting from the silent workhorse, though. It should be worth it in the end, though. Also, small lobbying effort, and we are now going into the negatives for political power. It's fine, though. We're going to start making a lot more now that we have done the Agricultural Adjustment Act. Research slot. Look at that. We are making 0.07 political power per day. Lovely. Also, all of our infrastructure is done. Let's build some more. The reason I'm building lots of infrastructure, by the way, is because we have undisturbed isolation, which penalizes building pretty much anything else. Also, importantly, it gives you more resources. So I'm going to be doing that in the states that produce oil. Super heavy battleship has been completed. Now, the biggest thing you don't want to do with a super heavy battleship is make it too expensive because it's already ridiculously expensive. So you don't want to add too much stuff onto it. Okay, so actually, as it turns out, the most basic super heavy battleship you can build, it goes over the production cost limit that we get from the London Naval Treaty. So we'll have to start building this later. And I cannot withdraw from the naval treaties until it's 20% world tension. It was a stupid idea anyway. Neutrality Act. The election of 1936. Let's keep Roosevelt around. And for some reason, we have not lost any support in the Senate or the House. That might be a glitch. Carrier. Never mind, it's too expensive. There we go. Arsenal of Democracy. Relief of Command. I've almost completely covered the entire country in top-level infrastructure. We must build more highways. We must add another lane to I-95. All right, we'll just let this run until we get off undisturbed isolation. Next, let's get the 6th research slot, which we can get as Historical USA. Cruiser. Make lots of those. Spy agency. I always forget this. 6th research slot has been acquired. We can now do Fair Labor Standards Act. After that, we only have one more focus left, and then we can get out of Great Depression. Oh, Mary, you are a very what's the word? Exceptionally talented spy. Let's give you a cool nickname. Yeah, I think that's it. Since all of our troops are going to be motorized, I'm going to go with the mobile warfare doctrine. And as America, we do have the mobile warfare expert, so we can get that dude, and now we can switch. These are going to be very supply-heavy divisions we are going to be making, so I'm going to get logistics. I'm going to suspend the persecution, and I think I'm going to hire the Communist Revolutionary until we have 10% support, because that will allow us to desegregate the armed forces and do full desegregation. Representative criticized the president. Disgraceful indeed. I've unlocked medium tanks. Let's design a tank together. 3-man turret for the maximum breakthrough. automatic cannon, basic radio, fuel drums, heavy machine gun, and another heavy machine gun. Welded armor. We can go for even more breakthrough or speed. We're going to get a lot of breakthrough from our doctrine, so I'm going to go with more speed. Or I could just go with nothing at all. I want to go for the speed though. Never mind, I'm just going to go with the Boji suspension. Diesel engine to make it more reliable. Let's crank up that engine all the way. Maybe not all the way. This is not the greatest tank ever, but I'm going to improve it later. This looks good enough. So it's almost 1938. We are still not off of isolationism, but we really need to start militarizing. So I'm going to start building military factories despite the giant penalty. Thankfully, we have super high infrastructure, so they should build relatively quickly anyway. There, that should be better. Give refuge to German scientists. I think it's worth it. Selective Training Act. Here's the division. It's not great, but I think it's going to work for now. Tank experiments. We can use the bonus for this to get medium 2s pretty early, which are much more reliable. After that, we're going to do Federal Housing Act, and hopefully the giant wakes will be ready to do by then. Let's add logistics onto this division, and let's also add on motorized recon because it gives more speed. Also gives plus 10% soft attack to all line artillery. We are missing 3,000 medium tanks. I'm working on it though. 30% war support. Can now do the giant wakes, which will switch us off of undisturbed isolationism. I've unlocked the medium cannon, so let's replace our autocannon with that. It's pretty good in terms of how well rounded its stats are. You get a good chunk of soft attack and hard attack. Albeit it is more expensive, but we're building more military factories. I think we can handle it. The giant wakes is completed. Let's immediately go to partial mobilization. And now, and only now, can we start having fun. I severely underestimated how much production I was going to need for this. Improved medium tank chassis has been unlocked. Yeah, let's make it nice and fast. That should do. Give refuge to Italian scientists. 1939, we have 16 divisions, all of which are very under-equipped. I'm starting to regret this decision significantly. Also, I don't know why, but we've lost pretty much all of our house support. I don't know when that happened. Maxed out naval doctrine. Here's an idea. What if I guaranteed the independence of Belgium? I can't do that. Even if I did, it would cost me 550 political power. Okay, so we're not getting involved in Europe too early then, I guess. There's nothing really else I want to do here. I was gonna do desegregate the armed forces and all that, but like I don't need the manpower. I guess I can just do it to be nice. Don't have the political power for the advisor right now though. Let's just do that. We'll not select focus for a while. The London Naval Treaty is gone. I can finally build my super heavy battleship. I don't think I can though. There's just not enough time to build it. Oh, never mind. I actually can't do that. We have done the Neutrality Act already, which disallows us from getting the Communist Revolutionary. I guess we'll reach out to the WARE group. It's some pretty decent advisors and they don't cost anything. See this right here? There's no cost for these guys. We just gotta do this focus to unlock them. So this is the fighter I've been using a lot lately. Usually I'll add some armor plates onto the bottom when I unlock them, but this is it with the armor plates. But it's been performing very, very poorly lately, and I'm not sure why. If you guys could tell me in the comments, because I really don't know, and I would appreciate the advice. Let's add even more artillery to this division. Right now, the only thing we're really missing is medium tanks. I think I can actually slow down production of other things. Don't mind me just repositioning my navy so it's a lot closer to East Asia. Nothing suspicious going on at all. And look at that. I was actually doing this for this specific reason. I knew this event would pop up, and yeah, no one's really in position yet, but I can go to war with Japan right now, which I want to do. Well, let's see what we can do in 12 days if we can get positioned in the right spot. If not, we can just, click declare war later. Well, nobody's in position, including the Navy or the Army or the Air Force, but let's just go to war anyway. We can just use this war goal a little bit later. We can also replace this guy with this guy, who gives us just a little bit of stability, which should help when we go to war. Mexican oil nationalized. Good for them. So for some reason, when I initially told all my troops to go to this island, only 6 of them went, so it's probably going to take twice as long as I thought. Actually, I can probably do a naval invasion with just 6 divisions. All right, 6 of the 24 divisions are ready to go. Let's declare war. Now, I do not have high hopes for this division, but let's see how it goes. And look at that. We've landed basically almost uncontested. And we've captured Tokyo. Now, this is a very delicate situation because we've only got 5 divisions here, and the other 24 are going to take a very long time to show up. So we might have to defend for quite a while. Encirclement. I might not have any divisions, but I can wiggle around them a lot quicker than they can wiggle around me. This is actually really freaking difficult because I don't have enough divisions to really do this. The rest of the army has arrived, all 24 divisions. It's all over for him now. All right, let's do this. Oh, and do not forget to use the cipher. I ain't gonna lie, this division is performing much better than I was expecting. Also, let's do a little bit of shore bombardment. Yeah, it's all over for him. These divisions are just too fast. They can't do anything about it. That is, unless they're on the other side of a strait, then they can definitely do something about it. Yeah, you see, as you might imagine, tanks and motorized artillery, not that great in amphibious invasions. We'll just keep sending them to the front line anyway, though. That might work. Japan casually leaving gaps in the front line. I don't mind, though. We gave them the good old gentleman's reach around here. And there we go. There goes Japan. I've got 20% of the war score. That's not a lot despite the fact that I kind of beat them all on my own. I have switched their country to democratic, and I've turned their entire country into a demilitarized zone. Look at that, 2 to 5 total divisions. All right, now it's time to see what they're doing in Europe. Let's ask to join faction, and they'll let us in, and then we can just join the war from there. And I did that whole thing without actually remembering to put up my air force. I mean, I've only been making fighters, but still. But Josh, what about the goal? We are producing 30k oil, and that's still at free trade, so we are giving away 80% of our oil. So I can still probably double this just by moving down a trade law. In the entire CIA, we have 2 spies. They are Toe Sucker and Feet Sniffer. It is time for D-Day, and every single tile is guarded and every single invasion failed. Well, that was a complete and utter failure. We should readjust our strategy. Let's look at this issue from a different angle. Well, I'll admit, this was a lot easier than landing in France. Now all we gotta do is make tanks work in the mountains. And there's not even anyone guarding Rome. Oh, that is just disgusting. Most of these aren't even Italian troops. The Flying Tigers. The war in China has taken a toll on its Chinese Air Force. It's not at war. This just gives me free war support and then a decision I can take. So I can just not take that decision. We've almost completely capitulated Italy and they haven't even had their civil war yet. They just cannot handle my methodology. Oh, look at that. As soon as I said it, they have their civil war. I can finally justify a war goal on Vichy France. 90 days. Okay, I think that's going to be the key because pushing through mountains with tanks does not work. Sure, Italy can have its territory back. Let's push them as far as we can while they're still disorganized. This is just disgusting. I'm using tanks in the mountains, but I'm winning anyway. I only inflicted 60,000 casualties during all of that. That is surprising. Anyways, let's get ready to invade Vichy France. Time for more artillery. Yes. Almost 400 soft attack and almost 400 breakthrough. This is gorgeous. Franklin Delano Roosevelt questions the motives of Vichy France. Really? It's really taking you that long to figure out, hey, this isn't right. The war goal is ready. Let's use it. Also call Italy into the war. Okay, I think something's broken because I keep telling Italy to join the war. It says that they'll accept. I keep doing this and it's not happening. Yeah, I reloaded the save and it's still not working. What the hell? Okay, so now they finally decide to join in. They finally, you know, they're like, okay, fine, if I have to. They waited until the border was all the way stacked with troops, too. Enough complaining, though. Little encirclement. Yeah, I don't think they're recovering from this. I also did not notice that apparently the Italian Social Republic has showed up, and the entire army that the South had is stuck in the Alps in an encirclement. Let's just ignore that problem until it becomes way too large to manage. Let's just ignore that problem until the 24 divisions that we have become way too few divisions to actually field an entire front line. Never underestimate the power of a bunch of very fast divisions wiggling around. Well, Mussolini is back and they have complete control over Italy. It's alright though, everything's fine. They ain't ready for the American blitzkrieg. Focusing back on the south again, and ooh, just disgusting encirclements over and over again. Absolutely steamrolling Italy for the second time, just completely dumpstering them. You know what? Volunteer only. Just because I can. Yeah, but as soon as I went to go focus on Italy, oh. Yeah, I'm starting to think that I need more than 24 divisions to do this, but I'm gonna keep trying anyway. Man, I just cannot stop encircling over and over again. All right, Italy has been liberated again. Now it's time to liberate Paris again. I'm addicted to building civilian factories. All right, that was shockingly easy, actually. Don't mind me just breaking through the Maginot line on the other side. I've run out of things to build, so I'm just spamming airports everywhere. You know what? Have some infrastructure, Mexico. You too, Canada. Okay, apparently Germany never declared war on the Soviets. I'm just now realizing that. Seems highly unusual to me. Like, I showed up at like a normal time. Whatever, I'll still take him down anyway. Yeah, the Grand Encirclement does not appear to have been pulled off correctly. In fact, I just lost about 5 divisions. No, it's fine. We managed to pull off the big Grand Encirclement from the other side. Oh my god, finally. That took forever. Now, if you've been watching the channel for a while, then you already know what's up. That's right, Ethiopian Austria.